Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace be unto you. Happy Savior's Day, and welcome to the Sajdah channel. This is the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today I just got a message that came to me that I want to share. Look, what's for you is for you, and there ain't nothing nobody can do about it. So be a friend, tell a friend. We'll be back in a few minutes, and let's get into it.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee. And he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
That house is where I came to life. You took pictures of me in that house, but it wasn't quite the room that I was in with Mother Marie. Yeah, I know you do. And Mother Marie, I was just a little baby Muslim. She said, "Brother, that's not the same child that I born into this world. Allah made him with his own hands." I was in that room. Little did I know that Allah was making me with his hands and the messenger's hands to be his chief helper.
alaikum, family. Peace be unto you and welcome to the Sajdah channel. You're tuned in. I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I hope you all are doing well. It's a cold, snowy day over here in Chicago. I'm about to get out in it, do a little snow blowing. That's always fun. So happy Savior's Day. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you are just prospering and excited about life. Something came to me yesterday. Listen, cleaning and wiping down this house is like a source for revelation. Let me tell you. One of the things that came to me was that oftentimes Allah, God, source, whatever word terminology you use, gives us a gift or gives us a desire or has something for us. And because we don't quite believe in ourselves, we give over our power to someone else. And what's interesting is that a lot of times people have enough game to see it, but you don't. Because oftentimes we're so filled with insecurities. I got this, but I don't know if I deserve it. Or I'm in this position, but I don't know if I deserve it. And so constantly trying to sometimes even be liked, because we don't want to be one of those kind of persons that has things or is in a position and somebody says, oh, she thinks she's all that, right? Or he thinks he's all that. So we're constantly trying to make ourselves be liked. And in doing that, we bring ourselves down a notch. And in essence, we're turning our back on what God has for us sometimes. And we're giving it over to someone else to control. Whether it's a person, place, or thing, whether it's an organization you're into, whether it's a relationship, whether it's friendships or the desire for friendships and relationships. Oftentimes we will give over our power. And I'm just here to say to us, to each and every one of us this morning, what God has for you, nobody can take it from you. The only way that they can get it is if you give up your power to it or your access to it, or you give it up in exchange for friendship, in exchange for love, in exchange for approval, in exchange for attention, in exchange for something that the ego wants, when in fact, God chose you. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, because I know there's a lot of us that know what I'm talking about. See, God is not fickle. This is why mathematically what we do don't always make sense. And this is how we know that we don't really believe the way we say we believe. Because if we say we really truly believe and we got all this faith, then why is it that we give over our power to somebody who has conditional love? See, God don't make a decision. He don't say, well, she's too fat. He don't say, well, he's too old. Or I don't like them little gray hairs coming up out of his head. God doesn't say he's too dark or she's too light or I'm only going to do it if she cares about this person. There's not generally all of these conditions. When you truly have a gift from God and God has something for you, nothing or no one can take it away from you. And he knows your imperfections. He knows you don't eat right. He knows you drinking a little bit. He knows you smoking a little bit. He knows you lying a little bit. He knows you gossiping a little bit. He knows you meaner than what you should be. He knows that you don't always treat people right, but yet he's trying to give you something. And the only way we don't get it is when we exchange it for the very thing that those vices we're working on are pinching us away from. You see when we lying a little bit, when we gossiping a little bit, when we backbiting a little bit, when we plotting and planning and scheming and talking about people a little bit, when we stealing a little bit, when we drinking a little bit, smoking a little bit, fornicating a little bit, when we doing all these little bitty things, it's pinching us off from our true power. See, you could be doing all this stuff right, but you a big time gossiper, or you a big time manipulator. You over here doing all this great work and everybody see all the stuff you doing, but you a huge manipulator. You a huge control freak, and you literally are destroying people with your manipulation and your control, where you're pinching yourself off from what God has for you. And then look at the deception we use, the devil uses. Then we start chasing something that we would have if we just stopped doing those other things. And then in turn, we have a gift and we give it away in exchange for that very thing that we're limiting our access to if we would just stop doing it. So in other words, if you just stop lying, then that little bit of elevation that you need in order to elevate your gift, you would have it. But instead of giving up the vice, you say, well, if I give up what God has given to me, then I can have that little bit of elevation and I can keep lying because I'm going to convince these people over here that I'm not a liar or whatever it is. I hope that's making sense, because if God has already said, this is your gift, this is your calling, this is what you do, can't nobody take it away from you. It's why you see people who are amazing singers and they got a gift, and you see them out on the street, even though they've gotten on drugs, even though maybe they've gone into a mental institution, and they still come out and can blow, can sing, because that's a gift that can't nobody take away from us. But we always are negotiating. And let me tell you something, that old wicked devil in other people, that deviation in other people, that space where other people are, where they're not quite vibrating at the right way, that tries to manipulate you into matching vibration with them, can be real tricky, real deceptive, because they'll tell you, let's be friends. And if you be friends with me, then I'm going to make sure you get the attention you need. I know you're seeking attention. I know you're seeking friendship. I know you just want to be the star of the show. And because you want to be the star of the show, then I'll just manipulate you a little bit. And behind the scenes, I'll orchestrate and make you the star of the show, or at least make you think you're the star of the show, and you'll give up. You'll sell your soul for that little bitty piece of attention, that little bitty piece of something, because somehow you don't think you're worthy of what God has blessed you with, whether it's a gift, whether it's just good moral character, whether it's just being a good person, because somehow you just don't believe it's enough. You don't believe you should have it. And you start negotiating to get it from somebody else who can't control it. Somebody else who don't have the power to give it to you. Somebody else that don't have the power to help you sustain. Start negotiating because you want to be friends. You want to be the life of the party. You want them to say good things about you. Maybe you've done something bad in the past. And you don't want them to see you in that light. So you're negotiating your gift because you're hoping that in that negotiation, they see you differently. How many of us are walking away from blessings doing that very thing? How many of us are walking away from what God has given us? How many of us have given up on dreams because we just didn't really think we were worthy of it? And we just really couldn't imagine the image that we would have of ourselves if we made the sacrifice. Let me give you an example. Some of us will stay in bad situations, bad partnerships, bad relationships, bad friendships, because we don't believe that we will ever have what we may have to walk away from if we're walking away from that friendship, that relationship, that marriage, that partnership. See, I'm the kind of person, I'm so keen on the power of vibration. And I know that if I'm not managing my life according to where my vibrations are, that I am almost certain to fail unless God just literally just scoops up and intervenes, which he's done plenty of times. But see, I will walk away with the clothes on my back before I compromise my vibration. Because if I'm walking through life with the vibration that I get from you because you're my dominant source of influence or connection, maybe just through proximity. Maybe you're a business partner. Maybe you're a husband. Maybe you're a wife. Maybe whatever it is, through proximation, you're sharing vibration. You can't live with someone without sharing vibration with them. And you're sharing their vibration. You can't work with someone without sharing vibrations with them. It's just not possible. It's not the way energy in the universe works. You got to be really good at separating yourself and going somewhere else and recalibrating yourself constantly. And I used to do this when I would go into certain companies, because oftentimes we would go in and maybe it was a merger, maybe it was an acquisition, maybe they were selling the company, and we were going into a situation where maybe it's already been announced to the employees that the company's being sold. And so we're there to put a plan together to make sure that the severance packages are in place and all of these other things. And so the energy, the vibration in the space is low. I would make sure, if I was out of town, if it was a traveling client, if I could walk down the street at lunchtime 2-3 times a day to go recalibrate myself so that I'm not nursing that fearful energy, because people are afraid. Are they going to lose their home, their house? What's going to happen? I would go recalibrate. And I was really religious about that. If it was a client here in Chicago and I drove and I could just go and sit in my car, I would do that. But I would constantly recalibrate throughout the day, because literally that circumstantial relationship of working with these people, that vibration is going to affect you. And, I've been in situations before where I had to say, hey, I'm out. Because what I'm not going to do is allow you and your bad vibration, whether your vibration is bad because of how you see me, or whether your vibration is bad because of how you see yourself. I'm not going to allow your bad vibration to permeate everything else in my life. And I'm very clear that it will. I don't believe in a spook God. God is not a spook. There is science and there's all these things out here that have proven this. That if I stay in your face and you don't like me, if I stay on this job and you're constantly abusing me, you got a huge problem with me. It is going to affect my life at home, my family. It's going to affect everything that I touch. And so if I find myself in a situation, well, let me say this. It's one of the main reasons why I went into auditing and consulting, because I started learning in college that I was an empath. And I never wanted to be in a situation where I was working a job, going to the same desk every day, working around people who didn't like me. I didn't want my life to be consumed with trying to battle their abuse. And because I'm not a slave, and because my enslaved ancestors went through that, I was clear I didn't have to go through it. And so I said, if I'm in auditing or consulting and I'm in and out of different companies, I can kind of control my vibration a little bit better. It was one of the greatest decisions I had ever made, not only for myself and my personality, but for my experience and for my career. It was making sure that I was not subjecting myself to something that would have impacted me. And you can, all you got to do is pay attention to how things are going around you. When you get the right vibration around yourself, you'll notice that little things around you just start clicking, just start working. Something ain't working, stop for a minute and go, what's the vibration? Who's around with a bad vibration? Who's not supportive? Who don't got my back? Who's not down with the success of this project, this relationship, whatever? And then you will see. Things don't just happen. Things don't just happen for a reason. So if you've ever been around me, I'm really, really keen on, you ain't got the right vibration, I ain't messing with you. Because I know that in relationships, on projects, and especially in business, there's so much that happens that is beyond your control. You want to make sure that that stuff's on automatic pilot. There's a lot of things that happen that you can't see, that you can't impact. So what you want is when a person comes to work for you or work with you, you want the vibration to be such that even if they're a bad person, they might do the right thing at the right time to help benefit your business and your project. But you got to create the right vibration. And that don't mean, excuse my language, just kissing ass. That means focusing on what you want, focusing on doing the right thing, making sure that you're handling people properly. And that means staying here with your vibration instead of here. Analyzing problems. It doesn't mean, and I know a lot of my business colleagues think this, that it means that we don't deal with problems or we don't pay attention. Let me tell you something. Something I always tell my team. I want all news, whether it's good or bad. Because if my neck is in a noose, I at least want my hand in it. Because I could get up out of it if I could get a hold of it. And that information that may seem bad today could very well be God making a move that sets me up for the victory later. So I want all news. We analyzing all of this. I want all information on all risks associated with my project. What's the risk? What's the possibility? What's going on? What we dealing with? What's the plan? And then we can put together a plan and put momentum behind the plan. And now we can use metaphysics or whatever and focus on what we want, start moving in a certain way, letting our thoughts guide us. But when you put your head in the sand, because you think that by dealing with something that doesn't make you happy, that it means that you're being negative, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because that nasty negative thing that is festering over here that you're ignoring, you're just giving power to it. You're just giving power to it. Let's deal with it. And you could go and you could go into it however you do it. You could talk to God. You could say, you know what, God, this right here is real nasty. And I don't want to over focus on it. You've blessed me so much. You've given me so much. You've allowed me to move forward in so many ways. I'm so blessed because of you. But this right here is not looking right. So what are you desiring me to learn from this? Because I want to get it. I want to get it quickly, and I want to get up out of here. And when I'm in that kind of space, that decision mode, I don't care what you think. I don't care what nobody else think. If I'm working on a project and I got to leave walking, if I took the train there and you done made me mad and we got a problem and I'm not staying there, I'll leave walking. I'll leave a relationship with the clothes on my back before I allow my entire being that God has invested in to be impacted by your ignorance and you being off and your problem that you got. Not doing it. So my point is this: don't walk away from your gift and your blessing in an attempt to please someone whose vibration is off anyway. See, if a person is coming and trying to manipulate you out of your success, manipulate you out of your gift, manipulate you and get you to do what they want you to do, to control you, to whatever they got to do, whatever they're doing to manipulate you, that person's off in the first place. And you should be saying, I recognize they're off right here in this space. And you may not want to walk away from them yet. You may say, okay, they're off. But that ain't got nothing to do with me and my gift, because we over here, we focused. But you got to understand that proximity and vibration is everything. It's like if I pick up this coffee mug, everything about this coffee mug, the words on it, the warm coffee in it is vibrational. And so my vibration is impacting this coffee mug. Okay. So if my vibration is impacting this coffee mug can't stay around me if it want to have its own vibration. You can't do it. I'm sorry. That's the reason why things like slavery is more egregious oftentimes than what we think about. Because not only are you being physically forced to do certain things, your whole entire metaphysics and epigenetics is being impacted. I was reading somewhere where they said the average age of a slave was 52 years old. 52 years old. It's very young. Why? Not the average age. I'm sorry. The average oldest age is 52. People didn't start really, how you saw like the Miss Jane Pittmans and all of them. A lot of them lived longer after slavery. Because once the slave master didn't really have no use for you, then people would just, especially people when they got brainwashed, they'd give up on life. But it wasn't until afterwards during Reconstruction that you started seeing Black people living to be like into the hundreds. You see the 110, 2-year-old man and woman. That usually was after 1865. Because during slavery, between not having choices to do certain things, people would just die or literally will themselves into death because of heartbreak. And do you know that if you are subjecting yourself to negativity, to abuse, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's wherever it is, that literally you are killing your will, and there's something inside of you that you are murdering. You're murdering your own desires. You're murdering your own will just so that you could be there, because something's got to give. Something's got to be adjusted. And what you're doing is saying, well, all right, it's all right. I got to have this paycheck. I know this woman is abusive. I'm going to murder my pride a little bit. I'm going to swallow my pride to stay here. Let me tell you something. If you believe like I believe, get on up out of there. Don't stay in no abusive situation. Get up out of there, because what's going to happen is that your whole entire vibration is going to be changed. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. When you're falling, so when degree by degree by degree, you're being chipped away at, you don't know how far you've fallen until you hit the ground. And then when you hit the ground, you're looking around going, uh-oh, can I get up? Is my leg broken? Did I break my hip? What do I do? But as you're falling, there's a point where you feel like you're flying. Because degree by degree by degree by degree, you're losing more and more and more of yourself. And it becomes a blind spot. You don't even know it. You can't tell because you're in your ego. And the ego's telling you a story about yourself. And you believe the story of the ego about yourself, when in reality, this situation, the job, the business, the relationship, whatever that you're in, is chipping away at your reality. And you don't even know it. I say I liken it to falling because there's that point when you fall where you lose consciousness. You know you've fallen, but you can't do nothing about it. And so you just lose the ability to do something about it. That's what happens in that phase when you're subjecting yourself to that type of psychops, that type of psychological operations. Any of you all who watch these CIA and spy shows, you see the psych ops that they do on people. The speaking with the forked tongue, the gaslighting, the abuse, and then, giving love and then taking it away, and then hurting you and then blowing on the wound. You see that kind of thing constantly, over and over. It's manipulation. It's a psyop. And when you reason why I'm saying stay clean vibrationally, because you can see the psyops coming. You can hear the words. You can hear the manipulation. You can hear the language. And oftentimes you can hear what other people can't hear because they're in their ego. See, if I sit down and talk to you and I'm in my ego and I say, I know she ain't going to talk to me like that. I don't know who she thinks she is. Then I might not be able to hear, if you real good at psychops, that you disrespecting me. Because I'm looking for the straight up, disrespect. But maybe it's more subtle. Maybe it's more manipulative. Maybe this person is just backbiting. I heard Maya Angelou explaining how it's like blow by blow, bite by bite. Person bites you a little bit, then they blow on it. Then bite you a little bit more, then they blow on it. Maybe it's happening like that, but you can't see it because you're in your ego. And then generally when we are in situations like this, we don't like our job, we don't like our business, we don't like our relationship. We try to find other things that make us feel good about ourselves. And then meanwhile, we're physically and mentally becoming weak. Do not give your gifts up in exchange for something that the ego is asking for that don't mean nothing. Attention, material things, love, alleged love, conversation, somebody liking you. Those are all things that the ego's asking for. And remember, the ego stands for, as we talked about, according to Dr. Wayne Dyer, edging God out. The ego just wants to be in control. It doesn't matter. It just wants attention. Doesn't matter how good, whether it's good attention or bad attention. The ego just wants attention. That's why a lot of people, when they're in abusive situations, they love to get sick. Or if they do get sick, they glorify it. Man, I just don't feel good. And they're competing with other people. How sick was you? Well, I was sick too. And instead of using the mind to turn the dis-ease or the sickness around. They're going deeper into it because they're busy competing with somebody else about how sick they are. But that's really just the ego trying to help you survive and say, you okay, even though this person over here is threatening your spiritual sovereignty. I'm going to say it again in a different way. You may be in a position where somebody is threatening your spiritual sovereignty, and your ego, in its effort to protect you, will just start trying to be special. Ooh, let's get this. Let's do that. Let's show out. Let's sing real good. Let's dance real good. Let's buy some clothes. Let's get some cars. Let's do this and do that. Because the ego's like, it's all right. It's okay. Come on, we good. Meanwhile, you selling your soul over here because of the abuse and the situation that you may or may not be in. What God has for you, nobody can take it away from you. God's not petty like that. He will give you a gift. He normally don't change his messenger. He just wait for you to grow up to the gift. He just waiting for you to do that one or two little thing. That little thing, and let me tell you how cool God is. Maybe something that you know you need to fix, but you started doing it in response to maybe some level of abuse, just to kind of get back some personal sovereignty. And let's say it's something you started to do and you say, I'm doing this because I can and because I want to do it. And I like it. Might be something you wear. It may be how you wear your hair. It might be a habit that you have, whatever it is. Okay. If you got something like that and you kind of know it ain't really right and you shouldn't really doing it, don't even really look right. It's like people who hold on to styles, like you see people hold on to clothes, they still wearing it, or they hold on to hairstyles that still is old, that have changed, but they don't realize it, but it's really a crutch to them. Then that's the one thing. Just change that one little thing. Stop doing that one little thing. Maybe you need to stop wearing that jacket you wear every day that you started wearing back in the day because it made you feel comfortable when you were in the middle of trying to recover from something. Maybe that hairstyle that you're wearing, that you started wearing because your ex-husband didn't really like it, or somebody around you didn't really like it, but you start wearing it because you was like, look, they ain't gonna control me. Yeah, change it. Because it's controlling you now. Because you're still wearing it and it's out of style. Hope this makes sense to y'all. Let me know in the chat. Give me some feedback in the chat if you're getting this, because I'm trying to give you these granular tools, granular mustard seed level type of tools to help take yourself out of the grips of somebody who's trying to negotiate you out of your position with God. Some of us give up our position because we don't want to be the topic of conversation. Did you know that I was listening to somebody the other day, they said, if you want to be on top, you got to be the topic. Y'all didn't catch that. If you want to be on top, you got to be okay with being the topic. So don't then go and negotiate yourself out of your position because you don't want to be the topic of conversation. See, because if they talking about you, then you already on top. If you want to be on top, you got to be okay with being the topic. See, when heaven calls your name, when God chooses you, when God picks you for whatever gift, it don't have to be something that's a public gift. It don't have to be something that everybody sees. Whatever he chose you for, he decided to show up on the planet in you. He had a reason, a goal, whatever that is. It already made you a target for the enemy. already. So it's okay. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep going. What God has for you, nobody can take it away from you. The only way it goes away is if you give it away. How do we give it away? We start negotiating it away because people are trying to pull us down from our position because we want to be liked, we want to be loved, we may want to have attention, we may really care about this person. Don't do it. And definitely do not negotiate yourself out of your spiritual position in the name of material things. Because let me tell you something. When you got that spiritual position, that spiritual power, you can make stuff manifest like that. You can make it happen. You just put it in your mind and God starts popping it into the right place. But when you over here trying to live a life of subtraction, you holding on to something just so that you could say you got it because you think it makes you look good in the eyes of somebody else, you literally are giving up that power of manifestation. You're really saying, you're not saying I really like this thing. You're really saying, because that's where your ego goes, right? This is deceptive intelligence. I really like this car. I can't give it up. I really like this job. I can't give it up. But yet there's all kind of negative stuff going on at the job or as a result of you having this thing. What you're really saying to the universe is, I can't let it go because I don't believe you're going to bless me again. And since I'm really focused on that and I know you're not going to bless me again, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to recognize the blessings that you got for me. So I'm going to hold on. But if you say, you know what? You made this one. You'll help me make another one. What's for me is for me, and what's for you is for you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. What you're saying to the universe is, I live a life of abundance. I can make happen whatever I want to make happen, be it the will of God. And I'm just going to roll with that faith. But what I'm not going to do is take a chance on you negotiating me out of my position, because what you have to give me can't even touch what God has to give me and what he's already given me. What you have to give me, your attention, your love, your conversation, I don't even care if the person is filthy rich. Look, if you manifested somebody at that income level, guess what? You can manifest more for yourself. Remember, what God has for you, no one can take it away from you. And do not allow yourself to be negotiated out of your position. And remember, oftentimes the ego will rise up and activate because it's trying to protect your spiritual sovereignty. It's trying to protect your soul. Because you over here selling your soul, you over here giving up your spiritual sovereignty and your relationship with God, you over here allowing yourself to be misaligned by mistreating yourself, then your ego has to say, it's going to be all right. Come on. Let's go get some more clothes. Let's go get some more jewelry. Let's go get some more attention. And so the ego's just trying to protect you. So you got to understand spiritually where you are and what's going on. Because a lot of us sell our soul on a day-to-day basis. We do it in organizations. We do it in relationships because it's the order of the day. And we get confused with sacrifice. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, you all, thank you. Thank you for listening this morning. I hope you got anything out of it. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you for the bullseye, Sister Alita, Brother Lamont. I see y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you're there. Look, make sure that you are booking for this special sneak peek of the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad during Savior's Day week. Go to sajdahhouse.com. Make sure you make a donation, shop at the gift shop, but reserve your tour tickets. There's only a few slots left. Just get on the mailing list if you miss it, but come to the reception. Come to the reception. If you look on there and you go, oh man, I missed the time slot that I wanted to come in. It's already sold out. Then what you want to do is just come to the reception. You don't want to miss it. And what I've been praying for, which I believe Allah has already answered, is that the energy that is emitted and permeated from the home will be uplifting. It will bless you tremendously. When I tell you, from spending time there and cleaning and working, the spiritual gifts that have opened up in me is almost overwhelming. I just say almost because I don't want to give up none of it. My point being is that I want it to be a way that you can access energy to heal, to become more abundant, to be more loved and loving, to be a greater Muslim and more in submission to the will of Allah. I want this house to be sajda, the adoration, one who adores Allah. And in that adoration, that beautiful exchange of energy, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, really the embodiment of who he is, gives us direct access to all of that and then some. I wanted to help improve your vision, your clarity, your career, your success, your family, your children. And you probably saying, now, Wendy, that's a lot for a house. I know it's a lot, but it is very possible. And I've seen it. I want everybody to have a magnificent spiritual experience. The minute you step on the ground, you just feel it. You feel the love just pulsating off of every brick, off the windows, off the copper, off the wood, inside of every room, just vibrating and calibrating your body to the Lamb of God. Sister Betty, I wish you could be there too, but I know you'll be there in spirit. And so you just come on because, energy, you can catch it. Come on, sis. CDM says, ASA, assalamu alaikum. May Allah continue to bless your spirit of divine intervention. Take care, peace. Oh, praise is due to Allah. Thank you. Rio the Great sent the little heart. Brother Lamont got a thumbs up. Sister Alita got the bullseye going. So thank you. So go to sajdahhouse.com. Okay. Book. Make sure you support. Make sure you donate. This has not been an inexpensive endeavor. Just getting ready for Savior's Day has been expensive. Okay. And we just pray that there's no price that can be attached to what I believe you will receive from visiting the home this week. So support, you can Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. You can Zelle Wendy100m@gmail.com. If you go to the website, there's a link. You click the button. I think it says click here to donate. You can donate via credit card. But we just want your support. And most importantly, we want to see you. Okay. If the tour time that you're looking for is sold out, then just get to the waiting list. And if anybody cancels, then you'll be pulled up. We're going to be sending out some rules of engagement here very soon as we get closer. Things like there's a security check, obviously. Don't bring no big bags. Don't bring your suitcases and trunks. We don't have no place to put your stuff. No big backpacks and all of that. You can't be scratching up the plaster in the walls. Just come on. All right. Yeah. So sajdahhouse.com, go there. But go to a reception. Come to the reception. The reception is going to be very powerful as well. Because you'll get a chance to spend a little more time there than you would on a tour. Receptions are from 6 to 8 p.m. And so I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. And we got some really cool retail items we're going to be offering. We got these beanies. It's cold in Chicago, and this is nice and warm. We've got some sweatshirts. I'm going to have my oud oils there. What else we got? We got some Tams. We have something else. I think we got t-shirts, but we got some good stuff for you. And of course, we got the coins. I'm telling y'all, get these coins. I keep trying to tell y'all, I was divinely inspired. You can call it what you want to call it. You could say, who do I think I am? I don't really care what you're saying. I was divinely inspired to create those coins. And those coins are going to mean something bigger than what we're even comprehending in the very near future. And you can get those at the, use the QR code at the retail space as well. We'll have them on site at the house too. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, family. Love you all very much. I really appreciate you all. I'm about to go move some snow. I'm gonna have some fun and play in the snow a little bit this morning. And just keep getting ready. I'll send you all some pictures. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see you. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible